Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the old 37 Homestead channel. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm doing another video for our plant profiles for plants that are good to grow in Florida. And today, sweet potato. Now, I have my sweet potato in these containers. I do have some sweet potato growing in the ground here, but I have trouble keeping mine from getting eaten by rabbits. So I'm also growing them in these containers. And these, you can see have some bug damage, but that's okay. Yeah, sweet potatoes are extremely easy to grow here. They are a very good ground cover if you don't have trouble with something like rabbits or something that's going to eat your plants. They are a very good ground cover because they sprawl everywhere, and everywhere they go they root, and as they root along they create potatoes. You can see right there, that would be roots coming out. Sweet potatoes are not, they're called sweet potatoes, but they're technically not in the potato family. They're not in the nightshade family. They are in the morning glory family. And if you've ever seen sweet potatoes bloom, you will definitely know that if you've ever seen a morning glory and you've ever seen sweet potatoes bloom, you'll see what I'm talking about. They have their flowers are very attractive, nice. At least I know the orange sweet potatoes make this really nice kind of blue flower, so like a purpley blue, I guess. But I have in this one, I know this right here is a purple sweet potato. I'm not sure if I have an orange in here. Don't know if I have any, actually have any oranges left. Because the purple sweet potatoes have a little bit of a different leaf shape, like more of like that kind of heart shape. The oranges are a little bit more rounded. This may be orange. There may be some orange in here. I can't tell. But there's various different varieties that you can find all over. Of course, you got your typical orange that you can just buy at the grocery store. You have something called boniato, which is like a white sweet potato, and that's common in like Caribbean, like Cuban and Puerto Rican cuisine and stuff like that. There is like this one that I have here, a purple sweet potato, where the actual potato is purple. My favorite that I've ever had is the standard orange one. It is a little bit, I guess for lack of better words, juicier. When you cook it, the purple one has a good flavor, but it's more dry, and I don't like that as much as I like the one, like the orange one has a little bit more. When you cook it, it's still a little bit, got a little bit more moisture to it. Propagate sweet potatoes, you can do it in two ways. You can get a sweet potato and basically just bury it in the dirt, which is what I've done. You know, that's how I got a lot of these vines here. I bought some purple sweet potatoes and I just stuck them in the soil. And the risk that you run when you do that is that they could end up just rotting if they get too wet, or if they get insect damage or anything like that. They can just rot and they won't actually sprout. So but you can do it like that. This is a testament to that. You can see that this is how I got these purple sweet potato vines. But the most common way, and probably the easiest way, is to take, these are called sweet potato slips or vines or whatever, but you can cut this, and you can take, like I would cut it about right there, and then I'd remove majority of these leaves, and then you just take that and stick it into the ground, and or you can put it in water. You can set it in water to see if it will start making roots, but I've always just put it right in the ground, and it will it'll sort of die and look pitiful. It'll lean over and be, wilted and everything. But if the roots take, all of a sudden you'll see it start to come back up and turn green like this, and then it'll start to take off. You can also buy a sweet potato, and another method I've used is to put toothpicks, like put 4 toothpicks in it all around, and then sit it like halfway in a glass of water, and sometimes it will start to send out roots. When it does that, it will start to sprout the slips, and then you can just literally pull the slips off the potato and then plant them. It's probably best not to just buy a sweet potato and immediately do that, because you run the risk of it rotting. But if you have an old sweet potato, sometimes they start to produce little root nodules or slips without you even doing that. If you put that in water, then for sure it's going to start rooting, and you'll have your slips. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to use an actual potato, it's best to just stick it in soil and let it, because that's naturally what it would do. It would start to produce roots and start to send up the slips that you can come out and either cut off or just tear off, and then plant them all around, and you'll have all over the place. It is a very, very prolific plant here. It will, if you don't have trouble with things like rabbits or anything that will eat the vines, it will run. If I let this thing would just run all over here. It would absolutely take over wherever you put it. It's gonna run everywhere. Like I said, it's a good ground cover. I'm looking for, because I have some more over here somewhere. And the thing with sweet potatoes, when you harvest them, is you need to get a hoe or shovel or a little like a garden fork or something, and gently, I don't see any over here, gently dig where the potatoes are, because if you're too rough and aggressive with it, you will break the potatoes all up. So gently lift up the area that, like for instance in this area, if I were going to harvest sweet potato out of here, get a little spade or a garden fork or something and gently come in here and lift up the soil and check for potatoes. Now that right there may have 1, maybe 2, because it's not, since the rabbits like to come eat it, it's not sprawling, so it's not rooting all the way as it goes, so you're only going to get potatoes right there. To get a lot of sweet potatoes, it needs to sprawl, because kind of like the pumpkin, as it sprawls, it sends down roots. Every time it sends down a root, you're going to have another tuber. So it's best to let them run, and like I said, you can use it as a ground cover. Plants that, like, have it run all over your garden, and then plant stuff within it, and it won't it won't harm anything. If you don't get all of the potatoes up whenever you are harvesting it, if you don't get every last, and I mean there'll be some that are that big, if you don't get every last one of them up, you will have sweet potatoes growing again. They are, like I said, they're very prolific. They will just continue to grow and continue to grow. And I'm trying to see, I know I have some more somewhere. I think there's probably some, they'll just randomly pop up because I've planted them in so many places in my garden. Randomly pop up. I don't even remember putting them there, and all of a sudden I see sweet potatoes coming up. But as I said, I have trouble with the rabbits here, so they don't last in the garden. Oh, here we go. Little, in the middle of all of these, there's pumpkin here, there's black-eyed peas here. That right there is a sweet potato. And if it were allowed, it would start to grow off, but it will get eaten before that is possible, unfortunately. So, but yeah, sweet potatoes generally are a lot easier to grow in Florida than white potatoes. You can get early varieties of white potatoes that you can harvest. New potatoes and stuff like that are good to harvest, are good to plant here, because they They are they don't take as long. If the longer the potatoes have to go, if you try to grow the white potatoes that have to grow for months and months and months before you can harvest and get anything, it's harder for them to survive in Florida, because you usually plant potatoes in the spring and then it has to grow through the summer. And you know how the summers are here. We've been in the upper 90s to low 100s here lately. Extreme humidity. There are a lot of pests in Florida, a lot of bugs, and it's just hard for potatoes to, the long growing potatoes, to survive that. Not saying that they can't, but saying that it's very hard. You're going to be doing a lot of work. So sweet potatoes are a good alternative because they don't care about the heat and humidity. They are more of a tropical plant anyways, so they like the rain and the water and stuff like that. And they are very, very, like I say, prolific. So you just will get sweet potatoes. If you dug a 4x4 garden and planted nothing but sweet potatoes there, you're gonna have a lot of sweet potatoes, and they're gonna try to run everywhere else. I have a section that I had where those blue containers were. The sweet potatoes were coming out and over the sides, and where they touched the ground, I now have sweet potatoes volunteering all up in the grass. I didn't even dig a spot for them to grow. They just started growing themselves in the grass. And unless you remove, as I say, every last little tuber, doesn't matter how small it is, it will continue to come up and continue to come up. You can mow it over, you can have frost, all that stuff. As soon as the conditions are right again, here they'll come right back up. So much, much easier to grow in Florida than the white potato. And then sweet potatoes, obviously you can make sweet dishes with them, but you can also make savory dishes with them, and they're very good. I've had them with like some olive oil and some herbs and salt and stuff like that. It was very, very good. Sweet potato fries are very good. But yeah, so that's the rather humble sweet potato. Everybody knows what it is. It's everywhere, but it is so easy to grow here that it had to make it on the list. And you literally just need to go buy a sweet potato and start trying to get slips, and you'll have your own sweet potatoes. So thanks for watching. That's going to be all for today. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this around. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will try my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and everybody have a good day.